Hey, in this episode I'm talking about all the losses that adds up to create an almost impossible work atmosphere in an area that I recently visited. Stay tuned for more. Hello there guys, my name is Johan Maila. I'm the founder and CEO of Lean Dimensions International. And I want to tell you a little story that just something that happened to me very recently. And I was in a hospital and I did something called a stress test. So I was on a treadmill where they connect an EKG equipment to you to check your heart rate, etc. There's a little computer there logging all the information and so on, and you know, a system to make sure that your heart is in good shape, etc. We'll find out what's wrong with it. And when I did this took me a little over an hour to do, but the actual test was 1 minute and 12 seconds. And the reason why I want to tell you the story is that these nurses that were there, they were struggling. I mean, they did a fantastic job, were very nice people and caring like you would expect from nurses, but also they were fighting the whole system there. And the reason for that is that things have started to malfunction. You know, for example, I came in there, they had to connect the EKG to me. So they had to take some sandpaper and then kind of take away a little bit of a surface of my skin, I guess, from something to make it stick. And then they did some type of bump test and it had to check if it was connected, and it wasn't properly. And then in the end they realized that the cables were not really correct, so they had to tape it together to make it work. And actually, to start with, they couldn't find that harness with the cables either. And then they got connected to the computer. The computer didn't work, so they tried 5 times to get it going, and then to restart the computer, and then it didn't connect to the treadmill, and on and on and on. And I mean, if you think about this, they are asked to perform a test on a very short time. They feel that they can't do that because it's so much work to do it. But as a matter of fact, out of that 66 minutes actually, and I know I'm a little bit nerd, so I actually know how long it took. There was only 1 minute and 12 seconds that was the actual test, and a little bit of up and down. Let's say 10 minutes you could get a patient in and out there. But they can't do that because of maintenance issues, you know, whatever it could be that's going on with the equipment. And this, I think, is a typical example of many workplaces. Small things slowly builds up and adds losses to the work, so it's more or less impossible to do the work correctly. So we create workarounds constantly, and if you create lots of workarounds and train a new person, they're going to get trained in the workarounds as well. So in the end, it's not a very efficient process, but it feels like everybody's working really hard, and they are, but just not with the value added work. If you don't know the losses you have in your area from where you work, you don't know your own work. Because these guys had more losses than actual value added work, if you think about it. A bit scary. I love to talk about things like this with you, so if you have a chance, send me an email. Let me talk to you about how you can find out what type of losses you have and what you can do with that in your organization, especially if you're managing the organization. Do you know how much losses you have? What is the potential in your organization? I would like to find out if I were you. And if you recognize that, send me an email, let me know if you want to talk about this. Like and share the video, and as always guys, thank you for listening.